Is it time to defund NPR yet? Because I really kind of feel like it's time to defund NPR because they have just updated their ethics policy to allow their journalists, hang on, like journalists, to behave like little activists. So I want to add some context to this. So back in the day, if some of you have been around on my channel for a while, you might remember way back when I crossed the 100,000 sub mark, I did a celebration live stream where I told the story of how I got myself fired from an NPR member station. It had to do with me being absolutely miserable working there, making a promise to Victor that I wouldn't quit my job, so I backdoored that situation like a good wife and got myself fired because I really wanted to leave there anyway. But one of the things that happened that really left a very, very bad taste in my mouth is I was working there when the Supreme Court decided on the gay marriage case that legalized gay marriage across the country. I was really psyched about this because the whole gay marriage thing was what got me into politics in the first place. I was a little activist myself back when I was 17, 18 years old in Vermont when they were trying to pass civil unions, all that good stuff. So that was one of my prime things that I was always worried about is I wanted gay marriage to be legalized across the country. I was really excited when the Supreme Court decided that case, and all I did was post on my private Facebook page that this was a good day and posted a link to the article about the decision. Well, several months later, when this NPR member station was trying to make my life miserable to try to get me to quit, I got pulled in and had a sternly worded conversation with HR that I was not allowed to express a public position on anything. Now, of course, that rule only applied to journalists. I was not a journalist in NPR. I was doing another thing, but they tried to apply it to me just to be rat bastards about the entire situation. So I had to say, I found it kind of funny when I saw this article come up today. New NPR ethics policy. It's okay for journalists to demonstrate. Sometimes. Because this sort of behavior was supposed to be expressly forbidden by NPR when it came to their editorial staff, but I guess we're just throwing that out the window. It is now completely okay for NPR journalists to be little activists. NPR rolled out a substantial update to its ethics policy earlier this month, expressly stating that journalists may participate in activities that advocate for the freedom and dignity of human beings on both social media and real life. The new policy eliminates the blanket prohibition from participating in marches, rallies, and public events, as well as the vague language that directed NPR journalists to avoid personally advocating for controversial or polarizing issues. NPR's current ethics policy was drafted in the early 2000s and then given an overhaul in 2010 to 2011. The new policy reads, NPR editorial staff may express support for democratic civic values that are core to NPR's work, such as, but not limited to, the freedom and dignity of human beings, the rights of a free and independent press, the right to thrive in society without facing discrimination on the basis of race, ethnicity, gender, sexual identity, disability, or religion. How many of you think that if an NPR journalist advocated against big tech censorship of Trump supporters, that would be acceptable? How many people think that if an NPR journalist went to a Stop the Steal rally, which one would think that election integrity would be on their list of things that they might be concerned about, how many people think that would be okay? I don't think they would be okay with that. How many people think that if an NPR journalist posted, Blue Lives Matter on their Twitter or what have you, that NPR would be okay with that? I'm going to guess, nah. This is only going to apply to the issues that they care about, the politics that they care about, and we all know what side of the aisle they're on. Is it okay to march in a demonstration and say Black Lives Matter? What about a pride parade? Look at the examples they're pulling out in the article. They're already telling you what they're applying this to. In theory, the answer is yes. In theory, the answer is that it's okay to demonstrate in a Black Lives Matter rally or a pride parade, but in practice, NPR journalists will have to discuss specific decisions with their bosses, who in turn will have to ask lots of questions. I strongly, strongly, strongly doubt that any questions are going to be asked. The carve-out is somewhat narrow. Protests organized with the purpose of demanding equal and fair treatment of people are now permitted, as long as the journalist asking is not covering the event. However, rallies organized to support specific pieces of legislation would be off limits. Well, that's an interesting question, because I've spoken at enough rallies to know that sometimes speakers at rallies advocate for different things that they advocate for things that are different than the express purpose of the rally. So how's NPR going to handle that? How's NPR going to handle it if one of their journalists just goes to a Black Lives Matter rally, and then perhaps a speaker, possibly from the Black Lives Matter organization, gets up and starts advocating for Marxism? Is that going to be okay? Is that going to be acceptable? Other events featuring a slate of political candidates from one party are also out of bounds. I wonder what happens if their NPR journalist goes to a Black Lives Matter rally, and all of a sudden there's a parade of Democratic elected politicians that get up to speak, or they're just to be there because they want to use it as a PR moment. What's going to happen then? Even when NPR journalists can legitimately participate in a civic event, the new policy asks them to consider how their participation will impact their colleagues. When taking a public stance makes it harder for other NPR journalists to do their job, there is an expectation that journalism will take precedence. This policy confronts the generational question in newsrooms: where does the journalist end and the citizen begin? This pressure on news companies to allow their journalists a wider berth to participate in civic activities has been building for years, particularly as social media has made direct engagement with audiences, sometimes rich, sometimes messy, part of the day-to-day workflow. They're actually admitting that there is pressure on journalists to behave like little activists, to pander to the political views of their audiences. They admitted it right there. As social justice causes took to the platforms, journalists were often caught in a new gray area between long-time professional practices and mores around personal communication. In the wake of George Floyd's murder, a younger generation of journalists pushed NPR to modify its traditional prohibitions. They just admitted what happened. They had a woke young journalists come in, or several journalists, woke young journalists come in and demand that they got to be allowed to act like little activists. And NPR said, okay, no problem. You can go to your Black Lives Matter protests. We won't stop you, even though it's been their policy for years not to do this stuff. Our goal was to make NPR a place that employees felt they could be themselves at work, and they wouldn't have to be one version of themselves outside of work and another version at work, says Alex, senior supervising producer for Planet Money and a chair of the 22-member committee that handled the revision. While the country was experiencing widespread calls for institutions of all kinds to reckon with systemic racism, newsrooms were feeling internal pressure. Black, Hispanic, Asian, and Native American journalists have argued that they have been disproportionately confined, even disciplined, over policies that limit personal expression. Well, we don't have to worry about that anymore. NPR is now expressly allowing its journalists to act like little activists. So I think we should defund NPR. Listen, if they are encouraging their staff members to engage in events that are only on one side of the political spectrum, then why exactly should we be funding their asses? If the left wants to fund NPR through donations and fund drives and all those things, they're welcome to do it. But why should I have to pay for it? I'm not okay with this. Are you okay with your tax money going to this? I'm not. But you know what I am okay with my money going to? I am totally fine with my money going to CBD oil. CBD oil right here. CBD oil right here. I have so many different CBD oils. One of the ones I have is Orange Sunshine CBD oil. And the reason I bring this up is because there is actually a sale going on this stuff right now. Now, you guys know I don't shill many things on this channel. I really only shill things that I actually do use and actually do like in real life. And CBD oil is one of those things. I take it mostly because it really helps me with sleep. It helps me to relax. It helps with anxiety. It helps all these things. I feel like I'm more balanced when I'm taking it, and I sleep like a rock. Just a couple drops under my tongue in the morning and at night. I keep it on my desk specifically so I remember to do it. and I just love it. I really do. So Orange Sunshine is one of the flavors, and right now they're having a special on this where if you get a 1500 milligram broad spectrum CBD oil, you're going to get it at a really big discount rate from what they're normally doing. So if you're interested in this, so you want to try it out, this is the perfect time to do it. The link is in the description below and in a pinned comment, and you can support my channel. You're also going to get yourself an awesome product, and I'm going to show you just exactly how to take advantage of this sale. So what you want to do is go down to HempWorks, which is where the CBD oil is, and then we're going to get that little thing to come up again, and then we want to go into Shop Now, and then we want to go over to this broad spectrum CBD oil, and you want to get only certain flavors are on sale right now. Hang on. Boop, there we go. You want to get your Orange Sunshine. See, listen, look, this is like normally like 150, 200 bucks. You're going to get it for 60 bucks, which is pretty good. Orange Sunshine is on sale. Lemon Lime is on sale. Watermelon Mint is on sale. The strawberry one is on sale. So great time to try it out. See if it's for you. Again, I really like it. I strongly recommend everyone try it out. And everyone has different results, but everyone I've ever spoken to that started using CBD oil as a part of their lives really, really enjoys it. So check it out. I will link this in the description below. That's all I've got for right now. I'll see you soon.